Hi everyone, it's Mihhail. Today we did a really cool podcast with our friend Sami Seck from Italy. Enjoy the video. Hi Sami. Thanks for joining our podcast today. Could you tell a bit about yourself and about your journey to our audience? Because a lot of people might not be familiar.
Okay, so I'm Sami. I'm 23. I'm from Bologna, Italy. And I make clothes. I started the brand when I was 14. I was still in school. I was just printing on stuff. I was printing on t-shirts, hoodies. And back then it was the time where, black fashion was kind of showing up on Instagram, all black fits. So I really was fascinated by that. So I kind of started to dive into fashion. And I just started like that. I started printing on stuff and selling hoodies and t-shirts in school. So that's how I started. And I was 14. It was like 2013 at the time.
Yeah.
So it's almost 10 years. I'm working on this brand right now.
Was the style like at least a bit similar to what you do right now?
Oh, man, I don't know. Like, whenever it comes to creating something, I don't really think about a style that I want to do, but it's more like a utility of the clothing I'm trying to do. And, whenever it comes to making clothes, I just start like, I want to own that, I want to that's the desire, of owning that clothes that pushes me to create it. So I just go like that. I don't really think about, it has to match like a certain aesthetic or something. I just flow with the ideas.
It's actually very interesting because this thing that you told about owning, about wanting the piece for yourself is actually what I always tell to all the people around who ask me. Yeah. And sometimes I feel that it's like hard to associate with other people, because I often tell like people that, like sometimes I want something, like I see like some like new item anywhere, it could be like anywhere, like it could be like high fashion, it could be from the souvenir shop,
Yeah, I get it.
And I just go like, to this mode where like I really want it. I really want this piece, but I don't really want to buy it. Yeah. I want to like make it, and make it better.
Yeah, that's the same way. Like, and this way you can keep evolving, because you're never in a comfort zone. You always have to, think about new stuff, and you're not really in a comfort zone because, you have to kind of work on it, in order to achieve it. You don't just go out and buy the piece of clothing, right?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes for creators, and I really actually, it was really cool to hear this thing from you, because I can really associate myself to it. I feel like sometimes for creators, it's a curse and a blessing, to have this constant urge and need to create something rather than to own, rather than to consume.
Yeah, that's life, man. Like, I honestly, I haven't bought clothes in like 5 years from now. Like, every day I just come here and I see what I'm feeling and I put it on, because I feel like, the clothes we make really tells what we are about, right? So, whenever it's time to dress up, it's like I want to dress what I want to mean, Yeah. And from there, you just start, yeah.
Yeah, for the past, I think like 2 or 3 years, I almost put a challenge to myself that like I would only like ever buy stuff that I'm not going to, that I don't have a possibility to create within like a year,
Okay.
So for me, I just, within like the past 2 or 3 years, I just bought like a couple of pairs of shoes.
Okay, yeah, I see the video, man, where you were customizing the shoes. That's cool, man.
Yeah, and even then I have to the urge to, you know, like to customize it.
To make your
improve
own.
it, to make it my own. I end up not wearing this shoe, like.
Oh, for real?
Once when I came back to Tallinn, yeah.
Okay.
But our own samples were actually just came in this.
Oh, you're making
month.
shoes now? That's nice, man. So nice.
Yeah. We're actually. I think by the time of this video, we might actually already release our first model.
That's cool, man. Like, you know, shoes is like leveling up. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you working on anything in footwear?
I've done footwear in the past, but it was kind of artisanal. You know, it was handmade, not really mass producible. So it was a pair of boots. And I've made like 20 pairs total.
What is it right now for you, boots or sneakers?
Nah, I'm just boots, man. I don't own any sneakers, man.
Yeah, I feel like boots are like slowly like taking over the
I mean,
the world.
Boot is life, man. Like I don't see myself wearing sneakers, honestly.
Yeah, because they kind of like. It all goes, I think, well with this, like, you know, theory, because like somewhere around like 2015, like 16, it was like a total like peak for sneakers,
that was big.
And then and it seems like almost like every like high-end luxury brand nowadays,
that's
like,
true.
does even more sneakers than boots sometimes. You know? So it kind of is like gravitates back. By the way, your brand, Shine Luxury, right?
Yeah.
Is the luxury, the word luxury, part of the name?
Yeah, it's not really. A lot of people asked me this before because, you know, it's kind of like luxury. I don't know, it doesn't sound really great. So I'll try to translate it the best way possible. So you don't have to take the word luxury as an absolute, like it's not luxurious, right? It's more like actually light. Like I was thinking about how can you say a religion of light, you know? So I was putting like shine is like light, right? Mm-hmm. And luxury, like the first 3 words is lux, which is light.
Oh yeah.
So it's not really related to luxurious, you know, fancy stuff. It was just kind of a game, you know, a little trick.
Oh, okay. I see now. Yeah.
So it's all about lighting because what really inspired it to create the name was, you know, in India, when you reach the mindfulness, they say the illumination, right? So I think that the same thing happens with clothes. Like when you really feel great, you give out the best version of yourself. So it was kind of like a philosophy, you know, behind the name. And illumination was not really sounding great, so I just play with the, you know, with the words. But yeah, it's all about light, actually.
So was it at the very beginning when you came up with the name that you actually like have gone through all of this like thought process?
Yeah. It was like the brain has always been named Shine Luxury since the beginning. Yeah.
Because with our brand name, it's kind of like a bit different story where I really came up with the brand name about 5 to 6 years ago by now. And I was 16 at that time, or maybe even 15. And the name really like didn't make a lot of sense. And it kind of like, with the time, like in about like 2 or 3 years, I started like, I got even a bit tired of it. I started even like low-key like hating on it, you know, a bit. And then kind of with time, it just grew on me, and I kind of like just got stuck with it, and I felt, and everyone in our team felt like, you know, like it became just as our, you know, like last name, you know, like
I get
something that just belongs. And later kind of like I also found that like some meaning like grew, you know, like with time on it. And I really started like, I actually like, you know, like worldwide, because that's why I asked you about luxury, because like in some way, you know, like the word worldwide, in Racer Worldwide, it kind of is like it's like a mainstream way, you know, of naming a brand. But then I kind of still like reflected on it, that with time, like actually our whole strategy and vision was always worldwide versus local, and we always picked international. We always picked to go on the internet, to cover a niche, and never really to do anything local, since we come from a really small country, from a small city. Have you been born in Bologna, right?
Yeah.
How was the local scene there?
Bro, like there's no scene over here. Like the only good thing about Bologna for me is that I manufacture my stuff. So, you know, Italy is really big for manufacturing. There's a lot of facilities. So I'm kind of in the middle of everything, you know, because I'm like 2 hours from Milan and I'm 1 hour from Tuscany, Florence. And pretty much I'm in the middle of the big manufacturing side of Italy, you know. But yeah, there's not really a big scene over here in Italy. There's a couple upcoming brands that I really like, but yeah, Bologna is definitely not not a place for a good scene. Yeah.
Well, have you been like, have you still? Because you mentioned that as you were growing, you started to sell to your friends and classmates. How have, like, describe these like first months, first moments of you know, starting out a brand, and how this all like switched into being like, you know, internationally recognizable.
Okay. So
thing.
It's kind of cringy. Like if I look at it now, it's kind of weird to me because I was doing really different stuff from what I'm doing now. But at the time, we were really young, and you know, when you are young, you always want to be like an outsider, right? You always want to be against conformity, right? So I remember it was 2013, and I came up with this idea of printing FVCK on t-shirts, which is like, if I look at it now, it's so bad, man. Like, I don't know why, man, but it's just horrible. But you know, at the time, it was good because actually it was creating a community, was putting people together in a group, right? And in Bologna, there was not really too much to do. So I remember going to like clubs or even the center of the city and selling people these t-shirts, and we were kind of vibing together because we were all on, you know, the same energy. So I think that really is what kind of made the first moves for me, you know, and it became a pretty good reality over here. I started doing pop-ups and it was doing pretty well. It was always that FVCK printed on t-shirts, hoodies, which, you know, is like a bad word, but it's not a bad word. And at the time, like it was 2018, I opened a store in Bologna, in the center. And yeah, it lasted like 1.5 years. Then, you know, COVID hit, all that stuff. And
how did the transition start from being like a local thing, you know, because you told me a bit about Bologna, into being like an international player, you know, and how big of a thing right now like international audience represents versus like a local audience?
Oh yeah, like right now I'm everything but local, man. Like I think that probably less than 10% of my market is Italy. So it kind of like really shifted. Like before I was only local, right now I'm only international, and that's crazy. But yeah, the switch happened because I had like a break, you know, I was doing this brand, and I feel like running a brand is like selling tickets to a club, right? And the more exclusive it is, the more people are gonna enjoy it, right? So, I mean, not the more people, but the people inside the club are gonna enjoy it. So I came to a point where I kind of saturated my, you know, my market, my local market, and everybody had the hoodie I was selling. So people just shifted, you know, to something else. And I started having like a downhill, you know, because it was kind of a trend. It was not really a brand I was working on. And, you know, trends go up, but after a bit they go down. So I had like a year of a break, and it was just after I opened my store. And I was like, man, like I've been making these clothes that I don't even wear. So right now I think it's time to collect my ideas, because I like making clothes. So I'm just gonna, you know, go out. There's full of manufacturers or places where you can buy fabrics, and let's just start experimenting, right? So that's what I did. I just started going to all these places right next to me, and I started designing my first samples, and those are pretty much the samples that you see now. Because since I started like this new aesthetic that I'm working on, I was actually working on it 2 years before I posted the first image on Instagram. So what you see now, I made it like a couple of years before. And yeah, that's how I shifted. I just, you know, I had to kind of destroy myself to create a new me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting for me, because I can associate like 200% to this story, because it was an absolutely similar thing with our project, where, you know, we were like at the first years we were focusing on the local market. You know, we were throwing some parties, like working with local artists, and then kind of, you know, like as you become the cool underground thing of your city, and as you dress all the cool kids, you know, then like you know, like younger kids with the more basic style start to notice. They want to buy the same thing, and suddenly every ninth grade, like 15, 16-year-old kid owns like a puffer of yours, you know, in your city.
That's
and
the same. That's the same that happened with me. Yeah.
And it becomes like an absolute like reverse marketing, you know, where like everyone starts wearing it, and then like people are like, you know, especially the ones who are really conscious about their styling decisions and everything. They're like, I don't want to be like everyone, you know, in the city.
That's true.
You could like enter. There was a moment where you could like enter a McDonald's, you know, on the main street, you know, in the old town, and you would see like 6 to 8 people in the same jacket, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and it was crazy, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's really like cool thing that you pointed out, that sometimes, you know, in order to like really like grow big, you have to like destroy yourself and build it from the ground up, and you have to do it like multiple times, you know, like not even once sometimes. And that's where a lot of people stop, you know. They think that's the end. That's the end.
That's nice, man. It's nice to hear that we kind of have similar background.
Yeah. Man, it's Friday night. It's like 11:30 right now in Tallinn. I believe it's like 10:30.
Yeah, it's 10:30
in Bologna, right?
Yeah.
Are you going out tonight?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm tired as shit right now. I don't know. And honestly, man, I'm not really like, I always work, man. Like, I'm in my studio. Like, when I close this Zoom call with you, probably gonna go back to work. Yeah.
Man, you make me like wanna associate you know, with you so much that it makes me like fucking uncomfortable at this point, you know. like I specifically asked this question because it was really fun. Like the moment I that when we, you know, remember when we were like DMing, you know, like texting and coming up with time, I knew I'm gonna ask this. I knew I'm gonna ask this because this is like a really big thing for me personally, you know, like and for a lot of people in our team, you know, that like as we started like working more and more and like, you know, at this point like we're able to like make a living, you know, of, like doing what we love. We kind of just like started like growing over, you know, the parties, the nightlife. It's kind of it's still fun to like go, you know, sometimes, but like usually my fun lasts like first like 40 minutes, you know, 30 minutes max. Like,
that's the same, man. Yeah, like this becomes the priority, kind of. I mean, sometimes it's even more fun to work on something than just going out. Sometimes I feel guilty, man, because, you know, I have this idea. I have to be like, damn, I don't want to be here right now, you know? So, I feel you.
It's absolutely the same. I even thought, like, is there a lot to do in Bologna?
Nah, man, there's nothing to do, bro. Like, this is not, if you want to come to Italy, don't come to Bologna, man. Like, this is not the place you wanna go to. Like, it's cool. Like, it's art. The oldest university is from here. So, you know, there's a big scene, like a university scene. A lot of people come here to study. There's good art around the city. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just fields. It's just hills, you know. It's pretty, how can I say? It's like nature, you know. There's not really too much to do, but at the same time, I feel like it's my habitat because it's quiet, so you can focus more on what you do, right? I don't think I could be as productive as I am in a big city because, you know, there's too much to do. You get distracted, right?
This is crazy, man. This is crazy. This is like the exact stuff I tell to everyone. Like, you know, like sometimes I'm talking to my friends, especially like from US, you know, who don't really know, you know, what Estonia is, you know. For them, I usually even like say, you know, oh, it's like Europe, you know, whatever. I come from Europe, and they always like, oh, like I wanna visit like your city, you know. And I'm always like, no, you shouldn't, never, you know, like don't go here. There's absolutely nothing to do here, you know. And then I proceed to say that like, yeah, like for me it's my habitat. It's like I usually compare it to like, you know, to like a ranch, you know, like to some like a rural area, you know, like countryside where you're like, you're in the city, but it still feels like you're isolated, you know.
Yeah, the same is over here. Like you go out, you see trees, you see, I don't know, man, like wild animals crossing the street. This is nice, man.
It's actually like our studio is like in an old house, and it's like located in this like pretty big park. And like sometimes like, you know, when we spend here like, you know, like time like till like late night, like sometimes I have seen there like, you know, like these Bambis, you know, like foxes. Like
That's crazy.
Which is like crazy.
Yeah.
It's like in the city center, but still like the city is so compact and so small that like animals still get through somehow, you know.
So is it cold over there right now?
Right now it's about 10 Celsius. Yeah, that was also like our weather was like a really big thing.
Yeah, that's why I see a lot of puffer jackets coming out of you. Yeah.
Because that was our first like breakthrough product, you know, the puffer jackets.
Oh, okay. That's nice, man.
Was there anything like this for you, that, you know, that you can like name as your like, you know, maybe not your favorite, but like, you know, the best seller, what people always ask about, you know?
I mean, hoodies, I'm pretty sure, like, people, is the same for you, like, but hoodies, it's like, it's everything, you know, for our, it's like a status, you know? So yeah, definitely hoodies and probably cargos, because yeah, I kind of made some different iterations of cargos and they went pretty good. So yeah, probably the two things that I'm most recognized for is that hoodies and pants. But right now I'm also working on more complex stuff. I'm trying some down jackets too, some trench coats, trying some different finish, you know. So yeah, but definitely hoodies. Hoodies is everything.
But can you guess, actually, I wanted to ask you, like, can you guess what is the like best-selling racer piece ever?
So probably the net sweater, I guess.
Yeah, and you're right.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I got it
Yeah,
first
why
try,
ask-
man.
yeah. Why I asked this? Because a net sweater was something that like made us realize that sometimes it might be, you know, because people get really stuck on like hoodies, you know, or like something like really basic. And it made us realize that like sometimes like a product that people really want can like come out of nowhere, you know, like. And I remember that very first drop that we did for net sweaters, we dropped like 200 maybe.
That's crazy.
And we sold like 50 maybe on the drop, you know.
Okay.
So we were like, yeah, this might like sell, you know, but
yeah, because
we weren't even sure
that's
if we were gonna do a
super
restock
recognizable. Like if you scroll, you see that, you immediately think, yeah, that's racer, right? So
yeah, and then it's somehow like with time it just like, you know, this 200 sold out like within like 2 months maybe, you know, which is not fast. And then we restocked, it went faster, and then we just like doubled every time, you know, like
that's
until
crazy.
it became like some crazy amounts. And nowadays it's already like this, actually the piece that is made in Italy.
Okay, that's nice.
We switched it to produce in Italy as it got bigger, increased the quality.
Yeah, like quality years, you know, like the fabrics they are born here. So
Yeah. I think that's actually like, I see, especially about your brand, from my perspective about Shine Luxury, it's a lot always about the detailing, right? About the trims, about the little accessories, details.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I feel like that kind of adds value, you know, to the garment. Even, you know, sometimes I don't even post all the details because I want the customer to notice, right? When he opens the box, I want him to see and, you know, pick the hoodie and say, yeah, I didn't see the engraving on this accessory, right? Maybe it's like 2 millimeters, but it has a sense. So I pay a lot of attention to detailing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like the audience nowadays grows like more and more conscious, especially you know, like the younger people grow more and more conscious of quality and you know, sophistication in garments.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And it's like a pretty cool thing. And I think like especially like little details and trim, it was always about like streetwear, you know. And streetwear is kind of term that is like blurred right now, but still, you know, we still work with a lot of like inspirations from
that's true.
From the street cultures, and that I think still allows to call it that way.
Yeah.
Do you work alone?
Yeah. I'm just by myself. I have no friends, man. Yeah.
I can offer mine.
Oh, okay. So.
You own a studio, right?
Yeah. studio / my living room.
So it's at your house.
Yeah. So if I wake up 3 a.m. because I'm dreaming of something, I come here and I make it. I don't have to take any bus, any car.
Yeah.
I just woke up, still in the pajama, and come here and do it. Yeah.
Is that your pajama?
No, this is not. I change it.
It will make a cool pajama.
That's nice.
Yeah. And have you yet even considered somebody to help you?
Yeah. So when I first started, I started the brand, right? So I was alone at first, but I was not, bro. I don't want to say I was a loser, but I was not really known in my school or my city, right? Nobody knew who I was. So I was searching for, some guys that were kind of popular to kind of push the brand. So at the time, I made 3 friends that would join the brand with me. But, at the first obstacles, they just left. So, running a brand is not something like you get results overnight, right? You have to work, and sometimes you don't even see the results, but you have to keep working because this is what you like to do, and no matter what, you just keep doing it, right? So at the first difficulties, they just left the brand, and I was alone, and I just kept going alone. And I feel pretty good, honestly, because, man, I don't really see myself working with other people unless I'm delegating my, what I'm doing right now. For example, right now I need people to ship my stuff, of course, because if I'm shipping stuff, I'm not designing clothes. If I'm not designing clothes, it's a problem, right? So yeah, I would need help. I probably will hire people in the future. I mean, not probably, of course, I will hire people. But for the vision, for the direction I want to take, I don't really want to be, surrounded by other people. I'm just solo, But maybe right now I just think this is my mindset right now. Maybe growing up, things change. I might just change, but right now, this brand is an extension of myself. So I don't know, man. I don't want to feel caged into making people accept my ideas, I just want to be free, and if I want to do something, I just want to do it no matter what. And that's how I work.
Yeah, I remember when I was just starting out, it was more about with the first people I worked with, with the ones who were, with those who we were starting out the brand with.
Okay.
I remember that it was always more about culture, about the coolness of these people, about them being subculture, like skaters or graffiti, or doing music, being punks or anything,
Yeah.
I can really see that in my early years too, and with time, kind of this relevance of being, needing to be in some kind of subculture, need to be a skate brand or a graffiti brand or something, kind of blurred, away. And I can also recall a moment, maybe at a year 2 or 3 of racer creation. I remember when it was pretty tough times back in days. We couldn't really sell that much that it would make anyone any living or profit. And I remember when there was a moment when almost everybody passed on the brand and went their own ways. Some people went to study, some people went to work, you know, and actually earn money.
Just had different interests.
Yeah, I can clearly recall that moment. It was for me too. But not to say that, like, you know, it was some kind of like drama or like, you know, a traumatizing experience. Like it was pretty cool. And later, actually, two of these people later rejoined the team when we grew a bit bigger. But yeah, it's kind of like goes to show that, like, you know, like two very similar experiences go to show that, like, you know, this like a normal cycle, you know, like you have to like constantly look for people. And like I always say that, like, not only the team grows, but like me too, you know, like at that time I weren't able to, you know, handle and lead the team that we have right now. So it kind of like grows with time. And right now I think like within the past like 2 or 3 years, we had maybe like right now we have like 16 people in the team.
Man, that's crazy.
And maybe like 1 or 2 people only like departed from the team, and it's usually like some kind of like things, you know, that they're not like related to motivation or something, you know.
And what's your role right now?
My role right now, it's a bit mixed because it has a lot of like leftovers from, you know, the moments when, because I you know, I guess like similar to you, I did almost every process in the brand with my own hands at some point, you know. At some point I was shipping the packages out, at some point I was responding to customers, at some point I was designing, at some point I was managing the production line, you know. But right now it kind of very, very slowly came together to a state where I can pretty much say that it's like a creative director slash CEO. Like classical stuff,
nice, man.
You know.
That's crazy.
Do. And I really been blessed, you know, with the team that we work with, to be able to like almost do nothing and everything at the same time, you know. So I don't really, at this point, I don't really like touch anything with my own hands. I haven't opened Illustrator or Photoshop for a long time, you know. I haven't been like shooting anything or messaging like a production company or replying or packing anything, but I still stayed like really connected and just like help everything out. It became more like a, you know, I wouldn't even say that it's like a manager. It's more like a, you know, leader and mentor, you know.
That's nice.
I just help people when they need help, you know. And I think it really like a breakthrough moment for me in my skills and my own like self growth as like a leader was, you know, realization that like I don't really need to, you know, manage anyone or like, you know, constantly like check and do like you just choose the right people, you know, who are motivated and passionate about it. And if they're motivated and passionate, they're gonna find a way, you know, to do anything. And you just help them out, you know. You just be like the trainer, you know, like a mentor.
That's true.
That's it.
And are you not afraid of like creating a sort of distance to the brand?
I find that like, you know, still it's kind of a rhetorical question, like very, very interesting, you know, because with time I realized that like there will be like, just statistically, if you think about this question, you know, if you choose a really talented person, you know, who will like, for example, do graphical design or even traditional design, you know, garment design, and they will do it for, you know, like 8 hours a day, you know. They will just like overgrow you within like a year, you know. Just they will just like become like more experienced in it and better than you know. And I just realized that at this point my position and my responsibility, like to help these people like come together, you know. Like sometimes it's more about like solving disputes, you know, like some arguments, and just like helping people to communicate, you know.
That's cool.
So for example, you would communicate some idea to a designer and then help the designer translate their
because it's all about
file.
translation, man.
Yeah.
I had a very big problem because when I opened the store, of course I had the team because you cannot do everything by yourself, but there was a problem of translation. You know, when you run a brand, if we don't all speak the same language, that's gonna be a problem. So yeah, if you are surrounded by nice people, man, I can tell.
Yeah, it's 100%. Actually, with our team, I could say that like almost like 90% of the people in our team haven't had like any experience whatsoever in fashion before. You know,
Okay.
That's why I always tell to like everyone, whoever like questions something, you know, if they can do it or not. Like almost nobody had experience beforehand. You know,
Crazy.
Like, the average age of our team is like 20, 21. You know. And
So cool,
we had I personally had a really good experience of, you know, growing the people, not trying to invite, you know, the best professionals, the coolest, the experts, you know. I always were looking for, you know, the hidden potential, like youngsters, you know, who had like fire, you know.
That's good, man. That's nice.
And that what really worked for us.
That's so cool.
What's the next move?
Next move, man, honestly, like right now I'm concentrated into making the best clothes I can. I don't really plan things out too much because, you know, I've planned in the past and things never go like the plan you scheduled.
Yeah.
So of course, like I have like a 3 months, I don't want to call it a plan, but of things that I'd like to do, you know, 3 months from here. But I just go, man. I just wake up, do clothes, go to bed. And what happens, whatever, you know. That's kind of how I want to work because, man, I want to feel happy, you know. I don't want to feel forced to create. I don't want to feel forced to do something. So if I make too many plans and things don't go as I wanted, you know, you start stressing out. You start going like, maybe I should do this, I should do that. And I don't know. But yeah, next moves, clothes, period.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
And I fuck with it, you know. I fuck with this mentality because a lot of people, you know, they always, there is like a biological urge within people to constantly try to look for something, you know, for a change. You know, they feel like they need to like constantly do something new, like change, you know, like, and which is good in some moments, but I feel like sometimes people are just not patient enough, you know. They don't work enough, they don't work long enough, then they don't wait long enough for their results to really show.
Exactly, man. Like, I don't know, making clothes is not something that is for 100% will give you results, you know. You might just do something and nobody fucks with it. So why should I make plans on something that is too wide, you know? I just do what I like to do and I don't even feel like working, man. Like I wake up, I make clothes and I'm happy. That's what happens. Yeah,
I never feel like working too. It's like sometimes I'm seeing, you know, somebody on a like 9-to-5 job, you know, somewhere in the supermarket or somewhere. I'm like, how is it possible? Like, you know, like I'm too weak for that.
Yeah, me too.
I would never last.
Like, honestly, man, I've never worked in my life because I started when I was in school and I just kept going. So basically, I've never worked a day in my life.
Like I think like since I started the brand, I have never done like a homework in my life since then. And like I would say even that like myself, I'm a really like a, you know, like a pretty lazy person, you know, like a procrastinator. It's just that the stuff that I do, you know, for a living, my job doesn't really feel like job. It's just like
this is fun, man. Like
yeah, exactly.
And we're cool too, right? Like it's not like we're making, I don't know, bridges on the road, right?
Yeah.
Like we're making stuff that inspires people, bring the youth together. So it's fucking cool, man. Like it's a blessing to do this for a living.
Yeah, I think if you feel like working, you know, if you feel tired of the stuff that you do, I think that's just not the right thing, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever had like have you ever still had like a bad month, or like, I don't even know how people call it, but like, you know, when you like become a bit depressed or like anxious for like a month, or like not creative.
I think we all go through that, you know, it's part of the process, and sometimes the best outcome is right during those periods, right? Because the moment you are depressed is the moment you have to work on yourself, right? So yeah, you know, the best of you comes out. So yeah, I am depressed too, man, sometimes. Yeah. How about you?
I would say as long as I'm busy,
you don't think about it.
I tend to forget. I tend to forget. Yeah, like in my life, like the most depressing things usually come either not from work, or, as you already mentioned, from the moments where I feel like I'm pushed to do something. You know, like for example, when I'm like, I think the only stuff that depresses me or like gets me like tired is like, you know, when I'm just like, I feel like there is something, I don't know, for example, like, you know, I need to do like some stuff on the financing part, like taxes, you know.
I get it, bro.
Do some like Excel for like
man, that's fucking
5
boring,
hours,
bro.
you know,
but we have to do that
only then. But then this, like, actually, you know, having to do this makes the creative work even more interesting.
Enjoyable.
You know? I really miss it whenever I start to do something else.
That's true.
But it's really, really interesting how, like, you know, like almost every topic we touched, I've been like associating with it.
Yeah,
so
that's
bad.
crazy, man. Like, you know, it's the first time we talk, and I feel like we really understand each other, right? So
yeah,
that's crazy, man.
And it's really crazy when you talk to, you know, sometimes like even when people ask you for advice, you know, people who maybe haven't like started their journey, you know, yet.
Yeah.
They still, like, sometimes, you know, they listen to your advice, but you can already feel that they're not getting it like 100%, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Because when we say that, like, oh, like, we don't get tired of our work, or oh, like, you know, sometimes it's more interesting actually to like stay in the studio and do something rather than like be out in the club, you know?
Yeah.
Or even if you're in the club, still to be with some person who are like-minded and discuss something in the creative field.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's sometimes just so much more interesting, and people like hear it. They think it's like a cool phrase, you know, like.
No, it's real, man.
But they like I think we really like live through.
Yeah,
things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's really interesting and really a pleasure to like. Be able to talk with like-minded people.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
But it was nice to talk to you, Sami.
All right, man.
I think there was a lot of interesting and very valuable stuff. I always tell that, like, you know, even the little details about your upcoming, you know, the little facts.
This is the first time that I talk about it, actually. Like, thank you for the opportunity,
I know
man.
it. I know it because I have looked up. We tried to look up some stuff about your brand, and it was really hard to.
Yeah, bro. Like, I'm deep in the deep web, you know.
So it's the exclusive. It's the exclusive.
Yeah.
But it will be really interesting. I think it will be really interesting.
All right. I appreciate it.
We would make sure to use it, like, you know, maybe even for some like short episodes on TikTok, everywhere, you know, maybe some small clips you know.
Okay. Yeah. That's nice.
Sami talking about.
That's nice.
You know.
Yeah, I get it.
I loved it, man. I loved it.
You're a fucking nice person, man. For real.
And I really, really wait to see you in live.
Yeah.
I hope we come across on some fashion week.
Yeah.
Or since you're not really a party person, I think maybe we're more likely to come across somewhere on the factory.
Oh yeah.
or on the fabric exhibition.
Yeah, like manufacturing
cool.
session. That's nice.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, it was nice to talk to you.
Whenever you want to come to Italy, man, you're my guest, bro. Like, I can take you around, like, show you stuff. Even though there's not much here, but I feel like it may inspire you as well.
Yeah, definitely. And even that I said there is not much to do in Estonia. I think if you ever come through for like a weekend,
yeah, bro, I will.
I think we'll find
100%.
a lot of stuff to do and talk about.
Let's do it.
But thank you, Sam.
All right, man. It was a pleasure for me.